Hi everybody! How are you all doing tonight? Happy Halloween! Happy October 31st! This is one of my absolute favorite holidays, and it always has been, ever since I was a young kid. So yeah, that's what we're going to be focusing on tonight with our intention, is the celebrations that happen around this time of year. So let's bring up our intention here. Every Sunday the intention is released, so that way you can spend a little time with it yourself first if you'd like to, and then we can work with it together. So this week I honor my ancestors, allowing their love to support me. I honor my ancestors, allowing their love to support me. So when you think of ancestors, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Feel free to put it in the comments or just think it to yourself. I wonder if you think of close, immediate people or persons that you were close with in this life and have passed on, or if you think of more like generations back. I think of all of it. Ancestors, anybody that, is before you in your lineage. So parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents, and so on and so forth back. So, hey everybody in the comments, just hi, thank you for being here as always. I appreciate all of you. So this week, I honor my ancestors, allowing their love to support me. So, I've always felt so connected to this time of year. As a kid, Halloween was my absolute favorite holiday. I had some point like elementary school, late elementary school, early middle school, I had this witch costume that I wore for like 3 years in a row. I don't know, maybe longer than that. I wore it until it literally did not fit me anymore. It was just a purple dress with like black kind of see-through sleeves, and I wore that thing all the time. And I had the hat that with it had 3 stars on it, and I loved my witch's hat. Wish I still had that, that specific one. So there's something about this time of year that, at this point, I feel like a lot of things get turned into like cliches quickly, or turned into like just really kind of like mundane knowledge that isn't taken super seriously through the internet. But you see it all over the place that this time of year the veil is thinner, right? That is very, very much true. And we have several celebrations across different religions, different groups of people, different lands across the world that supports this time of year. So today, Halloween or Samhain, depending on which way you look at it, and both of those, both of which have connotations of connecting to spirits or connecting to energy that aren't always there or always available to us. All Souls Day, All Saints Day is what I remember it being called when I was a kid, but I also see it being called All Souls Day now. We celebrated this through the Catholic Church, where we celebrated our loved ones that had passed on, and where we looked at celebrating all of the different patron saints that looked over us and guided us. We have Day of the Dead, or Dia de los Muertos, probably saying that wrong. So it is not my intention here with talking about these celebrations to say that like I'm an expert at any of them, or to really like boost my knowledge. I'm just bringing in these different celebrations that we have all within just a few days of each other, that all have this connotation in this connection with connecting with souls or spirits, or connecting with others that are not in the physical form. I'm going to use the term on the other side because that's just the term that I like to use. You could, your loved ones that are in heaven looking over you, or whatever wording works well for you. But there is lots of celebratory evidence that this time of year, the connections to spirit are very, very strong. If you are somebody that, like sees things out of the corner of your eye, you might have been seeing more of that. If you're somebody that has different energies or spirits within your house or something like that, you might be feeling those or seeing those things more. It kind of comes with the territory of this time of year. So Halloween, Samhain, All Souls or All Saints Day, and Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead. So all of these different celebrations where, I have little bits and pieces of each one of them, and they all point to us being able to make contact for or honor or celebrate the connection that we have with those that are no longer with us or that are guiding us from the other side. And this week, of course, with this being our intention, the astrology is guiding this too and encouraging it. So this week, right now, Saturn is in the process of slowing down for stationing, okay? By the end of this week, Saturn is going to be stationing from retrograde to go direct and move forward. So, I've talked about this briefly before, about the connotations that we can bring in along with Saturn being the planet that is on the border of the planets that are visible and not visible. So before we had the modern outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto that were discovered later on, we had the planets that you could see at some point with your visible eye. So these are the traditional planets, okay? And Saturn was the farthest planet out there. So Saturn has this planetary connotation of connecting to the boundaries and connecting to the beyond. So with Saturn being retrograde and stationing to move direct, right now at this slow period where Saturn is moving extremely slower than normal, the energy of Saturn is increased, okay? So it's strengthened and a little bit stronger. So we're looking at this from the spiritual connection side of Saturn, which we often look at that like rigid structural side of it, right? The part that says no and makes us reconsider things. But at the same time, there's this other side of Saturn too that connects us to the beyond, connects us to other realms, and connects us to the other side. So we have that also coming up this week. Venus is making her way into an opposition with Neptune. Venus and Neptune, like what more could you want for a connection with spirit, with the other side, with our loved ones that are not here within the physical? That's what Neptune does. Neptune, we've talked before, I say that what Neptune does is it immerses us fully in something and just totally envelops us in something. That something can be a spiritual connection, and it can, Neptune, while it brings you fully into something, it kind of lets other things kind of drift away at the same time. So Neptune has this way of kind of just letting, it's like Neptune can lift the veil itself. So Neptune has this way of kind of letting the material just kind of dissipate or kind of fade away. And then if the material kind of fades away, what are you left with? You're left with the energetic or the ethereal. You're left with the energetic world and the spirit world. So Venus being one of our beautiful benefics, bringing abundance and love and joy. Bringing Venus, love, and Neptune, spiritual connection and otherworldly connection. So the love of the otherworldly side, of the other side, of those on the other side of us. Brings us back to our intention. I honor my ancestors, allowing their love to support me. So the love of the other side, the love of our ancestors, the loves of those that have passed on that we know and those that we don't know. I think our support, our ancestral support, spans much further than, much further than a lot of us think it does, right? And then our other aspect that we have this week includes the other benefics. So this brings this being that both of our aspects, one of which includes Venus, one of which includes Jupiter, brings this balanced love and harmony, this abundance feeling, this very positive feeling to it. So although you always need to be careful when you're know exactly who you're talking to and exactly who you're contacting and things like that. I think the sun opposite Jupiter is going to bring in some knowledge, and it's going to bring in, Jupiter is the philosopher and the teacher. So the sun shining that spotlight on Jupiter here in this aspect, the way we are approaching it, is bringing in a knowledge through the sun, through something that is eternal and never changing. And to me, what is eternal, never changing is the spirit world. The material world is always changing. This is why within astrology we relate the material world to, and the physical body, to the moon, which changes its form quite frequently, and the eternal and that the soul, that which never changes, with the sun, that doesn't change, that stays stable, and we do not want to change, and we want it to stay the same, the way that it is. So we don't even really need to look at the astrology this week to see the connection that we have going on here, but the astrology just enforces it. So this week, I think most of us have lost somebody within our life at some point. Hopefully more people have lost less people than more people. I don't know, however you look at that, but I don't know. I suppose I've just known for a really long time that when our loved ones pass on, they're still around and they're still here helping us, and sometimes they're able to help us a lot more. This is just my own personal belief, but that's what we're doing here. We're talking stuff that I'm talking, so here we are. I'll tell you my views, take it or leave it. And I'm always willing to hear your views too, just so you know. It's not all just one-sided. But I think, and my opinion is, that when we leave this physical life and we transition from the life that we're currently living, from this physical body, at some point in the transition to wherever else it is that we go, I think on the other side, when we're in spirit form, I think there is so much more knowledge, so much more information, and so much more understanding of things. My opinion and my beliefs are that in a way we set the life that we have for ourselves beforehand. I think part of that is a free will, and part of it is a little bit of a karmic fate type thing. I think we decide, I think we agree to live a life based on our karma. Let's put it that way. And then when we come into that physical world and we're put into that physical life, into that material life, a lot of that spiritual knowledge and information, and a lot of the reason and the understanding of why we need to experience this life goes away. Sometimes we're able to bring that back through different ways, but a lot of times, we live our life and we don't really understand the reason why, perhaps. Maybe we don't try to understand the reason why, but the point is that when we're on that other side, there's so much more information and so much more perspective. I feel like, I believe that we've all lived many, many lives, and most of us will probably live many, many lives again. But I think as soon as you get to that other side, you have all of that information from that. And, I mean, not like a sob story or anything, but I feel like throughout my life, starting fairly early, like I had quite a few people transition from the physical to the spirit world. And over and over and over, I saw communications. I physically saw people. I had psychic readings where people told me details that they would have never been able to know without contacting these other people. I've had my husband had a reading by one of our really, really good friends not a reading by one of our good friends, a reading where one of our really good friends that had passed away, actually the person who introduced the two of us came through and gave some descriptions that seemed very, very much like how he would have described things within his own words of like the other side and this world and things like that. So, and for me, the biggest one is, not to get like super deep, but in 2020, right before, in the very end of January, I lost my grandma, and my grandma and I were absolute best friends. We talked all the time, and we even had talks about, like, while she was still alive, about like after she died and how she was going to come back and she was going to contact me and she was going to let me know she was okay and she was going to guide me and all of that type of stuff, right? So I've just had a lot of my own personal confirmations that we have love and we have support that is surrounding us from the other side for a really, really long time. And I hope others have had that confirmation too. But I think lots of people do forget that. And I think it's really easy to, like even me, I will be talking to, one of my various loved ones that I communicate with and talk with, but it's not the same, right? You still want that person right there. But there is so much support that is there and that is guiding us. And right now, this time of year, tapping into that, it's I want to say it's easier in a way than it normally is. So that's what I want to encourage here with our intention. Again, the astrology is supporting it, but we don't even need to look at that. And we can extend this beyond those that, were like intimately close with us as well. So I have had loved ones come through in readings that I have never met. I have had support from generations back in many, many different ways. And I think it's there for all of us. So yeah. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there for just a moment. So yeah, the talking this week is not super long. I want to get into the meditation, and I could talk about this stuff for forever. So I'm just gonna stop myself before I do talk too long, so we can get into the meditation. You hear a lot of things about, like, kind of a buzzword is generational trauma. And this isn't really something that I have personally thought a whole lot about until the last few years. I really think the South Node in Scorpio has something to do with, like, it being kind of brought to the forefront for a lot of people. But I've really come to realize that, every single person in every life has pains and has difficulty, right? And I think we pass those things down through our genes, through our DNA. I think we pass those things on in a way through childbirth. I firmly believe that what the mother experiences while she has a baby in her womb, that translates to the baby, and that has something to do within the programming of the life that is going to be born. This is not to make anybody feel bad about passing things on, but this is to kind of look backwards. So if this means that you can pass things on, this means that things were passed on to you as well. So I've been exploring this, like, looking back generationally. So myself, my parents, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, and thinking about the things that I know. Thinking about the things I know about them and their siblings and their immediate environment and their surroundings, and maybe even just kind of thinking about the things that I don't know and working through like a forgiveness process. And it's been really, really interesting. My grandfather actually has reached out through dreams about healing generational traumas in a way, and there was a whole lot that went on within my grandfather's life, lots of things to process, I think, after after the passing point and whatever kind of like review that we do with our life. And then he came to me in a dream, actually over a couple dreams, and in a really odd way, it felt like he was describing how, he was showing me how there was so much, all of the different things and all of the karma and the traumas and all of the things that had built up through his life, how it wasn't until after he was passed and he was on the other side that he was able to work through these things. And I felt like what he was trying to tell me is that you don't have to wait till you're on the other side if you have that information and you have that knowledge about releasing these things. So I want to look at honoring our ancestors, but I want to go a little bit deeper. I want to go a little bit more deeper in not only honoring, but strengthening our relationship by releasing any sort of negativity that is there that we might not even realize is there. Are you following me? Is this too weird? Hopefully not. Yeah, so for our meditation tonight, I have several little trinkets that are like family heirloom type things. I have a couple family rosaries that I use within my own ceremonies and rituals. You have seen, oops, let me move the intention for just a moment there. You've seen this bell before. This is my grandma's bell, and I use this to talk to my grandma. So she guides me all the time. I have family heirloom things back here, so those are the altar things that we have for this meditation. Before we get started, super quick, if anybody has any specific family members that they want to bring into this meditation, feel free to quickly go grab something or a picture, or even, you don't have to do that, but you could also write names down on a piece of paper. Sometimes the tangible things just feel like they kind of help a little bit. The other thing that I pulled out with me is, this is like the card that my grandma gave me when I graduated high school, that I keep tucked away. And I was rereading it. I haven't read it in a long time, but I was reading the front of it, like the standard stock print on the card here, and I don't know, it just felt like a section of this just kind of applied a little bit. So as we start our meditation, as we come into this, I'm gonna first read this little excerpt. I was debating if I wanted to read it at the beginning of the meditation, but I think I just want to read it right now really quick. So I think we're going to do that before we light the candle. That just feels like what we need to do. So yeah, I'm just going to skip by past of it. Okay. And just thinking about our ancestors and thinking about our love and support. As you hear these words, feel free to close your eyes if that helps, but you don't have to either. So, says, I know it hasn't been easy for you, being pulled in so many different directions, by so many responsibilities in your life. But you've done it. You've held on tightly to your dream, and now it is no longer a dream, but a beautiful reality, and a sign of a wonderful tomorrow for you. So I know that, like I said, this is a high school graduation card, and I know that these words are specific to that, but I felt like when I reread it, it felt like lots and lots of people talking to me. I know it hasn't been easy for you. You don't know all of the information that we know. You don't have all of this cosmic knowledge that the rest of the spirits know. Being pulled in many different directions by so many responsibilities in your life. Being held down by the material world. Being held down by this physical body that we are in, right? But you've done it, and you've held on tight to your dream. You're still going. You're still moving forward. I personally believe that if there is a place that controversial, I suppose, but if there is a place that is, yeah, never mind. So, and now it is no longer a dream, but a beautiful reality. So we are bringing this connection from a dream into a reality. We dream about connecting with those that have all of this knowledge. We dream about connecting with the souls on the other side. We dream about connecting with the saints that we honor. We dream about connecting with our ancestors that we've heard great stories of from our elders, right? And now it's no longer going to be a dream, but it's going to be a reality. And it's going to be a sign of a wonderful tomorrow of a connection that we can continue to grow and continue to bring forward here. So that's it. Coming into our meditation here. Looking at the comments, saying hi to everybody quickly. Yeah, lots of good comments there. Okay. All right, so this week for our meditation, we usually have a white candle, right? Purple candle for October 31st. This candle, the candles that I usually use have a white sage oil in them. These ones have a lavender oil infused in them. So the lavender and the purple itself is going to bring in this psychic connection, okay? It's bringing in the clairvoyance, and it's bringing in this spiritual realm. Think of the Neptune things that we're talking about that we're bringing in here. So we have a special candle for tonight, and it's going to allow us to help honor our loved ones. So here we go as we light our intentional candle here. Feel free to say the intention out loud or to yourself. As the candle lights and the flame grows, I honor my ancestors, allowing their love to support me. I honor my ancestors, allowing their love to support me. This week, as the veil thins, as Venus and Neptune come together in opposition, opening up the energetic and ethereal world to us, wide open. Thank you, universe. So as we start to close our eyes, and as we prepare to settle in, getting out any last little fidgets that we may have, contemplating the connections this time of year to the other side. Thinking about Samhain, thinking of the celebration of Halloween, considering the celebration of All Souls Day, considering the love and the honoring of our loved ones during the celebration of Dia de los Muertos across different populations, across different lands and different countries, spanning across oceans and continents, bringing together one common theme, and that is we are connected to those that are not in physical form. And as you take in a nice deep breath, you settle into the thought that you connect to those that are around you at all times. And no matter what the relationship was during the material life, no matter the struggles and the triumphs, no matter the disagreements or the differences, you are loved and supported by all of your predecessors. On the other side, there is only love. There is no room for discontent. No room to hold anything against another. Breathing in and out. On each inhale, I want you to feel the energetic presence around you coming closer and closer to you. And as you exhale, settle into the comfort of your own body and your own vessel, knowing that you are loved and protected during every moment of every day, but especially right now during this meditation. As we settle in to our breath, our physical and energetic body, I want you to look up for just a moment and notice the brilliant, dazzling white light that is shining down upon you from the sky. This is a light of protection, a light of strength, and a light of love, keeping you safe during all interactions, bringing you peace and comfort, and most importantly, love. As you continue to settle into your body and into the energetic connection around you. Names may start to come to mind. Faces may start to pop into your head. And if they don't, that's okay. Memories of loved ones. If you have contact with those on the other side, that is an amazing gift. If that is not something you feel you have experienced, that's okay. I promise you, you have experienced little notes and little miracles without even realizing it. Now, I want you to imagine yourself sitting in the dark outside. In front of you is a nice, warm, crackling bonfire. The air around you is cool, but you can feel the warmth radiating off the fire and the flames in front of you. And as you stand there, you start to notice that you are not alone. You start to notice that there's others standing around this fire with you. Perhaps there's 1 or 2 people, 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, or masses. It's different for each of us. Looking around the circle of people that are standing around you. Faces that are familiar, faces you've never seen before. All connected to you through your bloodline and your lineage, connected through your physical body and the elements it's comprised of, but also connected beyond the physical body. Connected through our souls for a spiritual body. Every one of these people, every one of these faces in front of you has a story that is connected to you. As you are standing there looking around at all of those that are gathering with you, looking at the love and the support that surrounds you, you feel a gentle arm rest on your shoulder. And at first, you just stand in the comfort of the embrace from this arm cupped over your shoulder. Just feeling the love and the support. And then you ever so slowly turn around and see who is standing behind you. Who is the first person that you saw when you turned around? It's okay if you didn't have somebody in your head to come to mind. Just the first image, the first man or woman that you see. And you say, hello. Thank you for joining me here tonight. I am open to the message you have to share. I am listening, not only with my ears, but also with my heart and my soul. This person has lots to share with you. Lots of information. Lots of love and support and healing. Lots of healing and release. They start to walk down a small dirt trail that is nearby, and you feel inclined to follow. Although this is a narrow path, the two of you walk side by side, and you listen. You listen and you feel what is there to be heard. The path of this life is long and winding, just like the trail you are on. But you never walk it alone. And as you hear their message, as you hear their story, you feel the love. You also feel the pain. You feel the joy and you feel the sadness. And you realize that little bits of that joy and that sadness are ingrained in your own heart, in your own soul. You feel it in the depths of your chest. Everything they went through made them who they were within this life, and is a small part, a very small part of who you are. Or maybe a big part. It's for you to decide. Now, I thank you for your time and your listening and your understanding and your attention. But tell you to wait right where you are as they walk on down the trail, back down the way you came. And before you know it, somebody else is walking towards you. Take note of who is walking towards you, their appearance. Do you know their name? Do you recognize them in any form? And as they walk up to you, again, you listen. You listen to the message. You hear their story. You feel their joy and their love. You feel their pain and their discontent. That love and their joy of life fills you up. And their struggles and their pains, they have been a part of you thus far. Today is the day we release those struggles, those difficulties. And as we release those struggles and difficulties from ourselves, it has a way of releasing it from the person it came from, as well as any future generations in front of us. Isn't that a beautiful thought? By forgiving those on the other side and releasing any negative emotions or traumas that have been passed on, any conditionings, you are clearing the energy of not only yourself, but past and future generations, all at the same time. If that isn't magic, then I don't know what is. And as they thank you for your love and devotion and attention, they wave as they walk back on down the path, winding path, and disappear into the darkness. Once again, before you know it, you see somebody else walking towards you. This person comes with their own individual life story and message as well. As you listen, as you feel the emotions that are surrounding you, as you tap into the energy of your loved ones that are so abundantly around you, ready to support you at any time. You listen and you process. No matter how much or how little information comes in, we continue to listen. We take the love and the support and we bring it into our being. And the difficulties and the traumas and the conditionings that have been passed on from this individual to our own being, even if we don't realize it, it's there. But today, we release it. And we say, I forgive you for everything known and unknown. And I release the struggles that have been passed on, making room for the love and the support, the knowledge, the wisdom that comes from being in spirit form. Oh, the information. Oh, the understanding. Our physical body and our brain and our mind can be limited while incarnate. But when you step to the other side, it just seems as though you must step into the mind of God, the holder of all information, the knower of all. And then we understand. We understand what we felt like we've always questioned. And as this person thanks you for your time, thanks you for the release and for the understanding, they smile and wave as they walk away down the path. And yet another person stands before you, And you take in their appearance. You take in the feelings that you feel as soon as they are around. What is the overall tone as you listen to the story? Maybe some of your loved ones and ancestors embrace you. Perhaps they touch your cheek or your hand. You thank them for the love and support, and the knowledge and the information. But your struggles that have become my struggles do not need to be either of our struggles. We can release them here and now from both of our lives into the ethers. Saturn slows to a halt, preparing to move direct. Saturn, which sits on the boundary of that which can be seen and not be seen, that which is physical and spiritual. As Neptune looks towards Venus, as Venus moves into a place of opposition with the planet of spirituality and immersement. Neptune and Venus, divine love, Jupiter and the Sun also coming together in opposition, lighting up the knowledge and the wisdom and the information needed to move on, to process and to release. You notice as this person stands in front of you, revealing their all, the good with the bad, the perspective with the ignorance of the physical world. You sincerely thank them for all that they do. Seen and unseen. And as they walk away down the path, you notice that there is a line extending as far as you can see of souls ready to support you, ready to love you eternally, ready to connect with you more than they already do. And they are always there. Always waiting for whenever you're ready, whenever they're needed. Thank you, loved ones. Thank you, ancestors. Thank you, guidance from the other side. As we move through this week, you may feel inclined to invite those you spoke with to communicate with you throughout the week, or not. Then you look up and you notice that that white light is still shining overhead, protecting you, loving you, and allowing only the best interactions. And as you are looking up into this dazzling light, you say, thank you. Thank you for your love and your protection. So as you turn to walk back down the path that so many have walked before you, and as you come to the line of souls and ancestors there for you, you notice each one look up at you with a smile as you walk on by, just waiting for when they're needed. Just waiting for you to call on them in any capacity of support or healing you desire. And as you make your way back to the bonfire that is still burning brightly, you look within it and you see so much. And as you take one last deep breath here, so much knowledge and information fills your being. And as you release it, you notice that your body feels a little bit lighter. And not only have you connected with those on the other side, but you have released yourself and them and any future generations from a certain level of difficulty. And that is absolutely amazing. Thank you, all of you, as always. I wanted to do something that felt maybe a little different tonight, but I think that was really, really good, and I hope you really enjoyed it as much as I did. I think there's a lot more out there about this type of information than what I have to offer. What I offer here during this meditation, the things that I talk about, the things that I discuss here, I try to keep to things that I'm very familiar with, things that I have experienced, things that I have personal experience with, or personal affirmation, personal confirmation of some kind. And maybe I'm just crazy. I don't know. But there's something that's been coming through to me lately about how we are able to release things that have been passed on to us that we haven't realized. And I think in that release, I think there is so much more openness and more information. I don't know. I just like my grandfather. So my grandfather passed away in 2007. My grandma passed away in 2020. I was very, very close with both of them. Anybody that knows me personally will vouch for that. And I was with them all the time. And my grandpa, like I said, he passed away in 2007. I've had some communication with him through a medium. I had a medium that just absolutely to a T described a picture that I have of my grandfather and I that I keep very nearby. And other than that, I have not had a whole lot of communication from him until within the last 6 months or so. And I also think time is really different. It's got to be different on the other side. I don't know. Maybe time doesn't even exist. Who knows? I don't have all the answers. I just know what I think and what feels right. But he started coming through dream form with these messages of how to heal these traumas. And I think what it, I know for a fact that my grandfather came in with lots of stuff, like preloaded. My grandpa was born under a Scorpio full moon and other things as well. But I just know for a fact now that a lot of what he experienced and a lot of that went on in his life were from things that were brought into this life. And I think like I said earlier, I think he's showing me that it doesn't have to be that way and we can release these things. And if I release these things that were passed on to me through my mother, from my grandfather, things that were passed on to my grandfather from his parents, I can help myself, I can help my children, I can help my mother. Same thing on my paternal side. Things that may have been passed on to my father from his parents, I can work through those things as well. And I bring up my maternal grandparents just because I knew them very well. My dad's parents passed away when I was very young and before. So I didn't have that personal material relationship with them in this life, but it works both ways. And I've been playing with it on both sides. And it just seems like after I started releasing things with my grandfather, that's when he started coming through more often. Like within the last few months or so, I've been seeing and hearing a lot more from him. So I think there's something about that release that will open something up. So play with that if you want to. Some things are just really, really heavy, and we all have to do this in our own time. So that's what I have for tonight for October 31. And thank you for joining me here tonight, even if you had other things going on. I know I took my kids trick-or-treating in the snow because it's snowing here in Michigan, but it was absolutely beautiful. But we went trick-or-treating right before this. So I thank every one of you that make time to come here, but especially when there's other things going on. Yeah, thank you all of you in the comments for your nice words and comments. That's awesome. Yeah, I appreciate all of you. And excuse me. I hope that you can. This is a building energy this week. It's not only on today. I think this is something we can work with and play with throughout the whole week. These aspects that I talked about are Thursday and Friday and Saturday. So this is a building energy. And if you've been seeing things or hearing things, that's because this energy has been building. So we're like this whole week in the thick of it, okay? So think about these celebrations of life. Think about these celebrations of remembrance that we have across different cultures and different geographical locations. You know, like it's kind of like similar how like there's lots of different like the creation stories within different origins are there's similar elements to it, right? That's how, to me that's how we know that these things are real. There's different stories that all come back to the same meaning in different ways. And it's a confirmation. It's a confirmation in different ways that this time of year we have connection to the other side and we are able to have this communication. We're able to have this communication all the time, but this is a time to strengthen it. So if you work on these things through this week, then you know maybe it will help you out through the rest of the year. So yeah, thank you all of you, and as always, reach out anytime. Be on the lookout next Sunday for a new intention, and yeah, like and subscribe on all the social media because that always helps. So Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, check out the Meditative Astrology website. You can find all things there, and I will see you next week. So happy days to all of you, and happy connecting to the other side. So blessings. Mwah. Have a great night.